Ancient Axe versus Guild Boss 5. Welcome back to another Bit Legend video, fellas. I'm going to try to make this a quick one because I know how long these Guild Boss 5 videos can be. The start of the show is Diver. He has got a ton more total stats. He's the top total stats character in the game at the moment. And he is the only player to have the ancient weapon, so we're paying attention to that. He is also a bounty hunter. You guys have seen him as an NG recently. So anyways, he's got the attack target enemy. I'm really just going to be using the 0 SP. Even though it hits 2 targets, it's actually still really good single target DPS. So I'm going to use the 0 SP, and then I am going to use the 4 SP here. This is the money maker, the star of the show right there. And Diver doing big things. So here we go. If you look at Vashir and Gibby actually has a couple hundred more total stats than Vashir. However, since Vashir has respec'd his stats to have low stamina, he actually effectively has higher total stats in the offensive categories. So he'll probably be getting the SA buffs from Vuk. And everything else is pretty much the same though. Diver is the only new piece of the puzzle here. So Guild Boss 5, I intended to stop doing Guild Boss 5 videos. We got it on farm, and I've pretty much shown the meta as much as I can, but this is possibly the best possible way to test Diver's Ancient Woe Axe. So this is more of an Axe video than it is a Guild Boss 5 video. I tried to show him in raids, but raid 9 is not a great place for testing, and I'm kind of tired of raid 9, to be honest. Whatever. I don't get tired of these videos, at least not the Guild Boss 5 videos. So anywho, we're doing a rotation. We're waiting for our tank to get ready to get his his debuff ready on the boss. So that's what we're doing. We have 2 chimes. We have a chime on Diver, and we have a chime on Vuk. Vuk's got the chime because he's the NG. That's kind of an NG thing. That's what NGs are going to do. Diver has it because there's no good thermal pet in the game. There is a rumor that one is on the way, but there's no good thermal pet. So Diver's going to be running the chime first as well. So we're going to lose some DPS because he's going to get the SA buff from Vuk, but he's not going to have an offensive pet to enjoy it. But it's still the best. It's the best play that we have with what we got, which is what's going on. All right, so I'm keeping an eye on the total stats. My tank is going to attack soon. I don't want to do the debuff. Actually, I can do the debuff because Vuk is going to go next. So I think I can buff Vashir. All right, there we go. Vuk is going to buff Vashir because Vashir is ready to go. Diver might not be ready to go by the time it's his turn. He might not have full SP. See, if I buffed Diver there, that would have been a big mistake because he would not have had his full SP ready to roll. Gibby is not going to get the buff this time. So Gibby is going to do his full launch now. One thing checked. Look at him go, boys. And we're going to get a good full launch off Vashir. So Vashir had the buff and the debuff. Oh my goodness. We might get it all. I think I can get the Diver buff before the boss attacks. Yes, we can. Oh my goodness. We just did everything perfectly. Wow. The SP procs, everything lined up. Now, the last time I did a perfect run where I got all the buffs and debuffs, everything correct, was actually my lowest DPS that I did. It was the lowest DPS out of the last 3 runs because we had an error on 2 runs. They both scored 10 million damage, and then the run that we did perfect was 8 point whatever million damage, and it felt really bad. I actually think I'm gonna do the mount skill here because, oh no, the boss blocked it. I thought the boss had the debuff. I should have watched the turn. So not a big deal. I don't think that was necessarily an error. It was just a difference of rotation choice. So whatever. I don't think the mount skills benefit from elemental damage, which is why you usually never see me use them. But I thought the NG debuff was still there. And we still got all our SP back before the next turn, so I'm not really worried about it. But yeah, since the mounts don't actually say a damage type, I assume they're physical, which could be wrong. Oh, that was a big dodge. That was a big dodge right there. That's really bad. I assume that they are physical damage. And, it is what it is. But that's why, if you're wondering why I rarely ever use mount skills. Because they're not that good. At least they seem not to be. Who knows? I think more interesting mount stuff will come in the future whenever we get mythic mounts, but that's not on the future plan, at least what I know about, so I wouldn't expect it anytime soon. Vuk is spamming the 2 SP skill. It is the best damage rotation of the Thunder Fury, and he has to spend SP to give his team SP, so Vuk's doing big work here. I'm not going to lie, I would like to see a lot more total stats. We're going to do the debuff here because why not? I probably could hold it for them having more SP, but I think it's okay. And then again, Vuk with the 2 SP. Vuk also doing big work with the Chime. I would like to see a healing meter added into the game. We have the DPS meter, which is amazing. I'm very thankful for that. I would like to either see both of them on the same screen or just be able to kind of click over and see the DPS meter. I think that would be pretty awesome right there. If I can go fast enough, I do want to see if I can squeak all of the attacks into one video. I think that would be rather nice, especially with all of the... Ooh, that was a big 4 SP dodge. So we've got 2 big dodges. But if I could cram them all into one video, that'd be great, because I've got all the tower videos coming to the channel, and I don't want to swamp everything too much. But hey, we're doing what we're doing. I still think each fight's probably going to end up being 10 minutes, though, so what you going to do, fellas? Like I said, my highest attacks against Guild Boss 5 have been around 10 million damage. And I would really like to see if we could break that. I'm always trying to compete with everybody else in Team 1 in my guild to see who can do the most. But in reality, there's so much RNG to it. I can't really flex if I get top damage, and I can't be too sad if I am low damage. Just because we've seen a couple of dodges there. A couple dodges or a couple absorbs. Absorbs are the real problem. Can completely flip the script on how you're going to perform. And you just got to hit the buttons that you can do and hope for the best, really. I understand that a boss should be interesting and should have some stuff, but it's like I don't really see any way around having a bunch of RNG defense on a boss unless you just want a giant pinata, a giant DPS pinata that you just hit. I will use the mount skill on this guy because whatever, it's a tank, his stuff doesn't work. If you see me not having 2 SP on Vuk, I'm using his 1 SP skill because an NG has to spend SP to give SP to a teammate. So I'll use the 1 SP if I have to. I'll use the 2 SP if I can. We also have 2 chimes and no healing weapons here. I've kind of, for now, maybe in the future it'll change, but for now I've scrapped the idea on upgrading the healer clergy staff. There might be a time where that becomes important, and it was important for me to have it as an option in the future. But the speed tank build, there's a couple of folks doing speed tank. Vashir has a tank alt cashier that is a speed tank, and he's doing good stuff. So it's definitely a viable build. It's just I'm not running it. Chinese, also in my guild, he passed me in total stats today. He's 7.5, I'm like 7.1. He has more of a speed build, and so we'll see. I've got Guild Boss 5 on farm, at least the guild does. So I'm not worried about making too many big swaps. I kind of want people to get comfortable in their teams. But there is a future. I might possibly put Chinese in the top team because he would give more SP than my character would. But who knows? Maybe I'll save that for Guild Boss 10 in the future. If and when that happens, we'll reevaluate the meta and we'll see. I'm not too shy about putting someone else in Team 1. There's no reason I need to be in there. Just because, I'm the beautiful face of the operation. I don't think that's a thing. But it is kind of nice for people to get comfortable with the characters and the rotations. We've kind of had the same core in Team 1 for a while, and I am starting to get comfortable with that. So, we'll see. I definitely don't think if everybody in the guild did auto attacks on Guild Boss 5. I don't think that we would kill it with auto. I think we would still have to have manual. I think at least if Team 1 and Team 2 and maybe Team 3 all do manual attacks, I think everybody else might be able to auto, but I don't want to risk it yet. And also, I would like the players in my guild to get more comfortable and get used to using these NG buffs and debuffs and timing things and getting comfortable with it for when more difficult bosses come. We're going to see more of this, not less of this. And I want everybody to kind of know what they're doing. But with that said, let's use the 2SB. I put a DPS ranking of each team together so that I can compare. So, okay, Team 1, I rank all their damage. Team 2, I rank all their damage. It kind of gives me an idea. And the difficulty with that, as I've mentioned, you only get 3 attacks. So that's one thing. Your players got to get comfortable, and then your sample size is low. And then the other thing is there's so much RNG to the boss. The dodges, absorbs, things like that. You can mess up a rotation super easy. I can't really compare it too much. However, over time, if somebody in whatever team 5, Team 1, doesn't matter, is always scoring like rank 1, rank 2, I know he's playing his butt off. I know he's doing really well. And over time, you'll have a big enough sample to be consistent. And over time, the people in the guild, their total stats start to kind of even out a little bit. People catch up. The rate of catching up is faster than people pushing super high. Come on, Chime Pet. Yes, the Chime Pet does it. And then the leeching attack from Thunder Fury, that feels pretty good. But what I'm trying to say is as the total stats equal out, I now have a record of who is doing the best performance when they manual content. And that might be a deciding factor on who I move for teams whenever future content comes out, stuff I'm thinking about. I've got players, they might be in team, come on Chime, there it is. They might be in like Team 5, Team 6, whatever, but they're playing their butts off, and when their total stats catches up, I'm not forgetting that. So the chance for them to move up's definitely there. When I organize for other guild leaders and commanders that are handling the Guild Boss 5 roster as more guilds start to push Guild Boss 5, the way I do it is you need 6 tanks because you're doing 1 tank in the front and everybody else is DPS. So get 6 tanks in your guild, or at least 6 people that can swap to tank gear on your Guild Boss 5 day. And yeah, get people that can, I did click the wrong button there. I clicked the mount skill there accidentally. It's not a big deal. But anyways, get 6 tanks in your guild. You don't need any more. And in fact, what would be even better is having all DPS players in your guild and then people that would just swap to tank gear on the tank day or on Guild Boss 5 day. That would be the best way to do it as far as total guild damage, because tank damage is bad any way you cut it. And so that's the first slot in all 6 teams. And then what I did is I rank ordered everybody based on total stats to get all my DPS kind of in order. And I used the total stats as a basic guide, and then I looked, okay, who has the Chime Pet, who has a healing weapon, and then who are my NGs. So I put an SA NG in every group when I could. All right, we are on Frenzy. I put an SA buff NG in every team where I could do it. And then all my tanks were SO debuff, which you guys have heard me talk about plenty. And I just tried to spread out the healing a little bit, and there you go. If you have SA buffs in Team 1, 2, and 3, for example, you want to take your top 2 DPS into Team 1, your DPS number 3 and 4 into Team 2, your DPS 5 and 6 into Team 3, and not push it all on the same team. That way, all your top DPS players ranked 1 through 6 are all getting SA buffs. If you have SA, I know a lot of teams aren't going to have SA, but SA was a absolute key for us to kill our first guild boss. The second guild boss, you can argue that we didn't really need SA. It was still nice to have it, and again, I want my players to practice and get used to being able to use these buffs, because this is going to be the difference. If your guild has NG buffs and debuffs, it's going to be the difference between you being able to kill the bosses in the future, whether you're still pushing Guild Boss 5 or whether you're pushing new bosses in the future, or if you are going to, just push future content, you're going to need the SA buff until you have enough total stats to just brute force everything, which maybe Destiny gear will bring, but we don't have that yet. So let's look at the damage. Diver, 4.4 million. Gibby did not get the SA buff. and he still did 3.8 million, and then Vashir 3.4 million. I think Vashir got dodged twice and Diver got dodged once. So if you're interested in the axe, this is obviously a small sample size, so heads up for more videos. But if you're interested in the axe, I mean, whoo, that's some nice damage. I will go and film the other ones, but I think, yeah, 15 minutes is kind of long. I'll do the other axe attacks in separate video. Couldn't fit it all together, just be too long. But look at that, it's beautiful. Keep in mind, RNG is a big factor. Diver also has a chime pet. Vuk has a chime pet. Vashir, I think he got dodged one extra time. But, I mean, Gibby doing all that damage without the SA buff. So next time I go in, Gibby will get the SA buff, and Diver will get the SA buff every time. All right, boys, I appreciate you guys for watching. Let me show you the total damage on the rank chart screen thing. And then I think my girlfriend wants to go run and pick up tacos and whatnot. So we'll film the videos in a minute. So I think the boss had 75% health before we attacked. Now he's at 63, 3% more, and we'll drop another item. Hopefully we drop another axe. Gibby and Vashir are going to want to get those axes out. Those are the attacks. That's not what I want. They're next in line for axes, and axes are more accessible now. You can use guild materials to get them. So look at that. One attack did 11.3. Our top last week was 10 million. So that was beautiful. I did 2 mount skills. You could say those are probably errors, and we had 2 or 3 dodges that were kind of nasty. But yeah, room for improvement. And then I think Vuk did all his attacks, so he's averaging 11.3 million or whatever, 11.2 million. It's good. It's good. It's good. All right, boys. Stay tuned for the next videos. Watch the tower videos. As always, I appreciate you guys. And keep on grinding, I guess. I need a better outro. I'm playing around with different stuff. Deuces.